What a way to start a day. What a way to start a stream here on the Information Superhighway. You have tuned in to the Super Sully Sunday stream here at the Reverend Sully YouTube channel. Welcome. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. We make content here consistently. This is my hobby. I'm not a professional YouTuber. I am a professional chef, and I got cooking hacks for you. There's a playlist there. It's what's cooking, and I can show you delicious, nutritious, and beautiful home cooking hacks so you can have restaurant quality food in the comfort of your own home. I also love to talk about professional hockey, sometimes like minor league hockey, not too much on American college hockey, but international hockey is pretty cool. And it's called The Smoking Puck. I used to run a blog for a good chunk of time, and it had to go. It had to go away. And but it's basically the same stuff I do here: spirituality, cooking, comic books, and hockey. So look forward to another edition of The Smoking Puck coming this week. I also I don't give hope to single people out there. I can give you the solution to be free of hope and free of worry. Let go of your attachments to happily ever after. I give you street smarts for the single soul. It's my very own single person's guide, well, to surviving singlehood. You know, someone's got to go to bat for us. And welcome to the Super Sully Sunday stream. It's a potpourri of different things, ideas, but it's mostly about comic books. My hobby, my lifelong love. I love comic books. I started reading comic books at a very young age. I'm 53 years old this coming birthday, this coming trip around the sun. And I started buying comic books in the 35-cent days. That's approximately 1977, 1978, when I was 5, 6 years old, where a small child could rummage through the couch cushions of anywhere, because anything you found was yours, especially when it came to pocket change. And change would fall out of an adult's pocket and end up inside the couch or inside the easy chair. So small children like me back in the mid to late 70s and early 80s, we would shake down our furniture and look for pocket change. The pocket change would accumulate, and a small child even then knew that you could exchange money for goods and services. Now, if you had 50 cents, 4 bits, a quarter is 2 bits. But if you had 50 cents, you could have bought a comic book and had 15 cents left over for a candy bar, or maybe even a little, like, a snack drink or something, or, or maybe if you just keep accumulating your pocket change, you can buy more comic books. So I don't remember what the first comic book I ever bought was. It could have been Star Wars, which came out in 1977 in Marvel Comics. It was probably Spider-Man or Superman, because as it being a small kid, you had Saturday mornings, and Saturday mornings were the centerpiece of the week for a small kid. Saturday morning cartoons. There were also after-school cartoons, but the Saturday cartoons were pretty exclusive to that day. And then there were other cartoons you had in circulation, basically a lot of rerun stuff. So I grew up with a huge amount of Batman, Superman, the Super Friends, which were the kids' version of the Justice League, and Spider-Man. and a good smattering of the Marvel superheroes too. In the 1960s, there were lots of cartoons made for both DC Comics and for Marvel Comics. There's a lot of Captain America throws his mighty shield. It was a theme song. There was a Captain America. There was an Iron Man. There was a Fantastic Four. There was a Fantastic Four in the 70s as well. That's where we got Herbie, because mothers groups were convinced that Johnny Storm, the Human Torch, it wasn't a good thing to show children. What if they set themselves on fire in Minecraft? That's where Herbie the Robot came from, to replace Johnny Storm for that cartoon series. I believe that was an NBC cartoon in the late 1970s. But there was the Batman 1966 live action show with Adam West and Burt Ward. It's Burt Ward's 80th birthday. Holy birthday, Robin! Congratulations and happy birthday, Burt Ward. There was the 1967 Spider-Man cartoon with the very infamous opening theme and jazz music too. It was really funky, but Spider-Man does whatever a spider can. Can he swing from a web? Take a look overhead. Hey there goes the Spider-Man. That was the 1967 Spider-Man show. There was also Filmation had a Batman cartoon, a Superman cartoon, a Superboy cartoon, a Teen Titan cartoon, and a Justice League cartoon. And there were more adventures of Batman and Superman, yes, but the other titles there were thrown in for variety's sake too. So then there was something called Electric Company, which was a PBS, public broadcasting systems, that was the educational television and cultural television channel. And that was and it was about teaching kids how to read. And so there was a live action Spider-Man where everyone else spoke in dialogue, but Spider-Man was pantomime, and his dialogue would show up in the iconic word balloon, and the small child would have had to have learned how to read in order to know what Spider-Man was saying in the episode. That was really cool. So it could have been like there was a Marvel comic. Marvel had Amazing Spider-Man. They had just started Spectacular Spider-Man. You had Marvel Team Up, which was Spider-Man and a B-lister or anyone. You also had Super Spidey Stories, sponsored by the Electric Company, and they were more kid-oriented too. So even in the 70s, Spider-Man had four floppies, one each week. Spider-Man still is supposed to have allegedly, Spider-Man is still Marvel's flagship title. I got this information from my friend Yule Carter at Fantastic Comics of Berkeley, California. You can find his details in the description of this show. If you need any back issues or anything comic related or anything new, you can hit up Yule Carter. You are just your very own mailbox away from having a local comic book shop at your front door. And hey, we got Lane Kramer out here, who was first. It's true. And then Lane follows up with a question. I'll get to that. We will get to this because it's one of the comics. It's one of the 27 different comic books that I read this week. Hey, AL, good to see you. I feel like I was just talking to you. I was watching Perch's video, and AL is an avid Perch watcher. So it's good to see AL in the comments over there. Good to see you, Dwayne. How you doing? Funny, I should mention the local comic book shop. AL is walking to her comic book shop right now. And Lane Kramer's only read 2 this week. It's good for you. There's one of the best things about being in tune with a review culture and review shows, and I get access to review copies, and I do report back, and I read them, and I make review, and I write small capsule reviews, and I send them back. So I'm part of this review culture. Apparently, Jim Werner from Weird Science Comics reads them on his Hot or Not show with Wes at Thinking Critical's Patreon, which Jim couldn't make it. He's out doing holiday stuff with his family. So Dylan, the real comic book gamer, and myself substituted in for Jim Werner this week on Hot or Not on Wes's Thinking Critical Patreon. So if you're not a member of that yet, go check him out, and you'll get some really good content. We got some. We talked about all the comics we read this week. I'm so sorry about that. You know, it sounds so kitsch and sounds so trite to say, thoughts and prayers, but that's all, some of us can do at this, and being so far away and with, what resources we have, but you do have America's thoughts and prayers. You really do. And it's good that, and yeah, a bunch of us shot from Yule. Yeah. At Fantastic Comics. I've done it plenty of times. He's good for stuff. It was good to see Yule on the show yesterday too. It's very cool. Yule rhymes with cool. And I think if he was a NASCAR driver, we could call him Fuel Carter. What do you think about that one, Pikachu? See, Pikachu writes all me jokes. So what's in the bag? We're going to find out what's in the bag. I got 3 comic books from my local comic book shop this week. 2 were on my pull list. 1 I bought after reading my review copies. It was that good that I really feel that we should be rewarding the writers, the artists, the publishers, and your local comic book shop who needs the business. If you are reading something for free and it knocks your socks off, why don't you go and get yourself a physical copy? Why not? That's the way to really show appreciation for this thing of ours, our hobby. Local comic book shops, remember, they are local businesses, the American way. With Superman coming out, will there or won't there be truth, justice, and the American way in that? Probably not. In 2001, Jim Lee was trying to take that away from the Superman sloganeering. The American way has been part of the Superman motto since the early 1940s, and I believe it originated in the radio show, the radio serial, Kellogg's Pep, P-E-P, Pep. I love those old Superman radio shows. I really do. And it's good to see a robust conversation going on in the live chat. Wow. Make sure you tell Perch. He lives somewhere. He lives in Texas, as we all know. Maybe you can get that beer and have a beer. Maybe I'll send you a couple of bucks and you could buy Perch a beer from us. If that happens, let me know. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I'd love to be in cahoots with you again. And I read, let's see, what did I read? I read 20. Pikachu, you're supposed to set the show up. Here I am pulling your I'd call it dead weight, but your fluff. You're stuffed with fluff. Oh, gosh. Why does Pikachu have to make such things difficult for us? My review copies and how many? Did we read Marvel books? Did we read this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 Marvel books this week I read. Then I read 10 more DC books because I was on Wes's other show, his Patreon show, Hot or Not. So I went out and read. I went to the pirate site. I sailed the high seas. Arrgh, I did it. And I read some really boring DC books. I read more Marvel books because that's like part of, review thing. And I also read one more book besides that. It was a Skybound image book. It was good. We will see that near the end of the show. Diamond Comics. Diamond is owed. Let's see. Let's share the screen. Share that screen. You know what I mean? And yeah. Okay, this is from Bleeding Cool. Its author is Rich Johnson. Take it or leave that, however you may. Like him or hate him, you can respect him. And his contribution to comics journalism. And he's kind of like the big two of comics. Everyone are like, oh, just comics are just more than just the big two of comic books. Yeah, but they're pretty much like pretty much the game in town. And so is Rich Johnson. So take it or leave it. But Dynamite Comics. And I'm thinking too, how many Dynamite comics am I reading a month? How many Dynamite comics are on my pull list? Zero. I'd make the hand gesture, but I don't want to. I don't want any problems with, with problematic people. You know what I mean? Always looking for stuff. The Latinos have a great saying for that. It says, "Tu buscas a la cinco pies al gato." It means you're always counting the cat's feet. You're convinced that the cat has 5 paws, 5 legs, 5 feet. And everyone knows the cat has 4. So you're a busybody. You're always looking at the cat. You're always counting the cat's feet, thinking there'll be 5. It's a great ism. It's a great thing. Well, I mean, my definition of respect is pretty bare and simple. A human being needs 8 hours of sleep, 8 hours of work, 8 hours of play, three meals a day, in hygienic outhouses, indoors, or just the opportunity of success in the pursuit of happiness, life, liberty. Like and dislike have little to do with respect. Now, respect also means there's the third version of respect, like you find in the Constitution, like Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion. That means, in that form of respect, it means to install a national religion, as they do in England, the Church of England. We can't say in America, oh, the official national religion is Catholicism. That's illegal. That's unconstitutional. But yeah, I get what you mean. I'm giving it, and it's like more of credit where credit's due. It's just he's like, yeah, who else is in the game? What, Heidi? The Mary Sue? Us? Where do we get our information from? ICV2, Internal Correspondence Version 2. That's actually a pretty more reputable kind of site. Diamond is owed Dynamite is owed $1 million from Diamond and can't make payroll next week. Wants the bankruptcy courts to hurry their decision along. And at the end of May, Dynamite Entertainment filed paperwork with the U.S. Bankruptcy Court regarding the Chapter 11 bankruptcy of Diamond Comics distributors, now bought by Ad Populum. Dynamite is claiming that payments that should have been made for comic books and merchandise delivered should be counted as administrative expenses, with hundreds of pages listing items that have not been paid for. If successful, Dynamite would have received payments as a matter of priority. Diamond Comic Distributors, the debtor, challenged this attempt. Now into July, that was at the end of May. Now into July, nothing seems to have progressed, and now Dynamite has asked the courts to hurry this along, saying that, quote, The bankruptcy rules allows the court to shorten notice periods that when an act is required or allowed to be done at or within a specified time by these rules, or by a notice given thereunder, or by order of the court, for cause shown, may in its discretion, with or without motion or notice, order the period reduced. That means they can compel Diamond to pay Dynamite. And Dynamite is currently owed over $1 million for shipments made to the debtor Nad Populum LLC, and a majority of which are administrative expenses. Dynamite, a small company with less than 30 employees, does not have the funds to make payroll next week if it is not promptly paid by the debtor. The debtor has filed a vague objection asserting potential set-offs, but has not communicated any such set-offs to Dynamite. Dynamite is aware of multiple other publishers who remain unpaid for millions of dollars of shipments post-petition. The debtor has multiple weeks to prepare for a hearing and has not communicated at all with Dynamite regarding resolution of the motion. And seeing this was written on July 1st, on Tuesday, it would have gone, and bankruptcy courts will take a hearing. Whether the case or not should be hurried along tomorrow, Wednesday, July 2nd at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Or should I say Baltimore? Yeah. So that is we have done the comic book YouTuber thing. We have read a bleeding cool article. Dun, dun, dun. But in a way, too, I mean, all things considered, 30 employees, under 30 employees, and but I understand income in order to pay bills, in order to, but it sounds just like kind of like cheapish and desperate leveraging. So are they using their employees as hostages? Like for every 60 seconds, for every 60 minutes, so you don't pay us, one of the hostages is going to get it. You know what I mean? For every week you don't pay us what is owed, we're not going to be able to pay our employees, and you're going to make people suffer. It's a PR nightmare. Poor Dynamite, yeah. It's good to see the chat on fire. Dwayne Muth, master of emojis. Also, if you have any continuity questions going back through the entirety of the Silver Age up to now, Dwayne Muth probably has an answer for you. He isn't. Before the internet, there were men like myself, and then masters like Dwayne Muth. Diamond sucks. It's also a cautionary tale about the dangers of monopoly. When you have to put all of your eggs in one basket, when you have this one like stranglehold over distribution. And now in the early 80s, there were a few different distributors. Actually, the whole thing with National Periodical Publications, what eventually became DC Comics, there were like three companies. There was National Periodical Publications, there were All American Comics, and then there was National Periodical Publications Distribution. So they had their own distributor, that they were their own distributor, and going to marketplace, going to the newsstands. And that was that distribution part of the comics book thing. So over the golden and silver age, basically, National Periodical Publications acquired Fawcett Comics. They won't acquire Charlton Comics until I think 1980, I believe. But who else? It was Fawcett Comics, and who did Blackhawk and Plastic Man. Oh, it'll come back to me. What Dwayne Muth is out there, so he might know. Mon Frere. A lot more than a few, distributors. Hey, good to see you, and it was awesome being on the show yesterday. I apologize for my low energy yesterday. I'm really under the weather again. I'm still shaking it off in a way. I'm pretty low energy today. I've already taken 2 naps today. Really? Yeah. I mean, geez. And we'll get to that. We're going to talk about that. I mean, because I have questions. Because I'll even show you. I'll show you exactly what happened. I'll share with you some pirated shit. Hey, it's more than a cliche. Good to see everyone out there. But yeah, but it's okay. It's on Dynamite to pay their employees, and it sounds like desperate leverage to try to get a settlement or try to get their piece, their $1 million out of Diamond. I don't believe Dynamite. Seriously, that's kind of incredulous that you're not solvent enough as an operating company to pay your employees. Doesn't payroll come out of a different budget than your expenses? I know that they're claiming administrative expenses with the $1 million that they got tied up in inventory separate. I mean, this seems like a bunk story to me. And I have how many Dynamite stories am I reading? None. 0. I hear Space Ghost is good, but David Q Papoose. That's right. You and your thing and Papoose. Peepos. I know. I'm not. Whatever. Fuck him. He's got me blocked on Twitter for whatever reason. I get it. Sure. I'm the bad guy. Awesome. And I hope you had a really good, safe 4th of July weekend. I did. I hung out at home. I watched movies. I watched The Guild. The Guild is a wonderful show. It's Felicia Day. Let's see if it's still out there. Watch The Guild online. It was its own. You can watch it on Apple TV for $1.99. Maybe it's the whole thing. It's got 70 episodes. Well, 6 seasons. Each season is like a mini movie. It's like it got a little longer. It was literally. This is originally premiered. Yeah, let me share this tab instead. I love this show. I got my copy, my DVD copy signed by Felicia Day. She's the redhead in the center. She's the writer and the producer, and she was in season 7 of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. She was on Supernatural. She was on Dr. Horrible Sing-Along blog. There was this amazing musical thing that was made by Joss Whedon a while back. And this is about 6 online players. This is called. I'll drop the link in the chat. Captain Finity, how are you? Good to see you. And Dungeon Crawler Kevin, how are you? He'll probably have like 50 covers for one week's book. Yeah, but watch The Guild. And there it is. Where is it? Okay. It's about the show. Okay, see, there's the 6 of them, 3 gals, 3 guys, and they play a massive multiplayer online role-playing game. Yes, MMORPG. A massive multiplayer online role-playing game set in a fantasy world. So it could be anything. They just call it The Game. This ubiquitous title for their video game and online experience. This started in 2007. It wrapped up in 2013. And it was a labor of love. And a lot of crowdfunding went behind this to make this live action show happen. It's got 6 seasons. It's about Codex, who is played by, Sid, who is played by Felicia Day herself. There's Zabu, who is the healer in the bunch. There's Clara, whose real name is Clara. There's Vork, the older bald guy who is like the leader of their band of misfits. There's Blades. He's like the teenager in high school with the sassy attitude. And then there's Tinkerbella, who is a pre-med student, and she's also played by Amy Okuda. So if you know your Star Trek: The Next Generation, she's the daughter of Michael and Denise Okuda, and she's like really pretty too. This is a fun show, and then they've been playing together online for years, and The Guild is a comedy series about a group of online gamers. The show started in 2007, and for the first season was solely supported by loyal fans through PayPal before Kickstarter was created. From seasons 2 to 5, the show was sponsored by Xbox in a groundbreaking web video deal that kept the show independently owned, and then ended its run on YouTube. Remember YouTube Red? In 2012 with the final season 6. Remember, YouTube Red is where Cobra Kai season 1 started. The whole Cobra Kai sensation started when YouTube was trying to make independent streaming content. It originally premiered in episodes of 3 to 8 minutes each. You can watch all 6 seasons here as movies or stream them on Netflix, Hulu, or YouTube. You can also watch them on DVD, what I got, with exclusive extras. There are also Guild comics available through Dark Horse Comics. And the Guild has won numerous awards over the years from XX Southwest, YouTube, and Yahoo. And it was created by a gamer herself, Felicia Day. And it's an authentic look inside the world of gaming, online and offline. It has got a lot of guest stars. It's really, really fun. I got to meet Felicia at Fan Expo Dallas, and I got her autograph on my Guild DVD slipcase cover, and she really like, oh my god. Also, my best friend Peter Fernandez, he bought a cameo from her for my birthday for 2021. She sang me happy birthday, and that was really, really cool. Hey everybody, good to see you. I like the Guild. Yeah, me too. Good to see you. It's good to see everyone out there. Quality Comics. Thank you very much, Dwayne. They published Blackhawks and Plastic Man. So I was saying about distribution and about Dynamite and how I think this is a bunk kind of issue, perhaps, unless you know more than I do. I mean, they're claiming that they're not solvent enough to pay their overhead. I mean, aren't they? Haven't other distribution systems have already kicked in by now? Don't they have a revenue stream? Aren't they with Lunar or Penguin Random House already? But National Periodical Publications, which became DC Comics in 1977, they were bought by the Kinney Corporation in 1967. Kinney Corporation was the definition of a conglomerate, of a big corporate thing. Hey, James, good to see you. How you doing? Thank you very much. Like, share, and subscribe. Great advice. And then, and there were the Kinney Corporation. I mean, if you had to make an association, what does the Kinney Corporation do? My first answer were parking lots and parking garages, and just because you would have, because on the signage, this parking lot is owned by the Kinney Corporation, and but they also were just like a big corporation into everything. So the following year, in 1968, the Kinney Corporation, after buying National Periodical Publications, because it was its own distributor. It could distribute. Now it could be and the newspaper game and the magazine game, because you have access now to marketplaces, to newsstands, to magazine racks, because now you own National Periodical Publications. And the year after they bought, Kinney bought the flailing movie company known as Warner Brothers 7 Seas. And with that, because they wanted to, like I said, get into more multimedia. Now that they have newspaper and magazine distribution, now they have movies and television production. And they changed their name from Kinney Corporation to Warner Brothers, and it's been like the Warner Brothers thing ever since. But I don't know. Where was I going with that? Down memory lane? I have not seen Fear of Girls, but I have an acute case of it. All the same, I really love. I finished watching The Guild on that's what I did for 4th of July. I watched The Guild. Yeah, and it's really good. Why, thank you. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of sus, as we like to say about our friends Gabe Hernandez and myself on Wes's show, Thinking Criticals, Comics Aficionados. It's pretty sus that you can't pay your employees. That no, it's not. I'm going to say it sounds like a negotiation tactic that you're trying to fashion leverage. And I think we'll wait and see. We'll see if these employees actually do get paid. But I hope they do. I really do. Hold on one second. Hold that thought. All right. Don't worry about a bloody thing. Peeing into your Gatorade bottle when you're a professional YouTuber like me and Pikachu, it's like, that's a step back. You just gotta take a step away. You just gotta, nature's calling. You're accepting the charges. There you go. Just fucking do it, man. Everybody does, Yeah, The Guild is fun. The Guild is geeky goodness. Actually, because it's add to stage. There we go. Because it starts off with the inciting incident that they have to meet in real life. Zabu ends up at Codex's doorstep, and so she has to gather the rest of the Guild who have never met in real life, and they have to band together, and they become real life friends. And so it charmingly enough reminds me of the Comics Aficionados, and then the meeting up at Dallas Fan Expo. And so there's just it's a pretty good story if you like lighthearted, fun, geeky stuff. Written by Felicia Day herself. I'm so glad it was done before 2012, 2015, because her sense of humor is scathing. And I think after Me Too, it would have had a different flavor. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Thank you, Lane Kramer. Thank you very much. Huzzah. What's for supper tonight? We're having burgers tonight. We're having bacon cheeseburgers. Barbecue bacon cheeseburgers with a roasted garlic aioli. Sliders, one could say. Because the buns are so bloody tiny. I gotta make smaller burgers. So now I can have two instead of one giant burger, So yeah, Diamond, that's kind of sus that you don't have the you don't have it to pay your own employees. Hacha! What is this? Variety. Oh, you got what you wanted. You got a click out of me. It's all about engagement farming. James Gunn, director and writer of Superman, the upcoming Superman movie, coming out this week on July 11th. I'm not going to see Superman. I have no one to go with. I hate going to movies alone. I could rustle up some company, call the boys. You know, Brian would probably go in a heartbeat. You know, and if I hear anything good about it, I just might. If the buzz is good, it doesn't need my help. This is going to be $1 billion movie. This is wow, Wagyu beef. How you doing, Phil the Kill? Good to see you. This is actually just 80/20. I got on sale at the supermarket. Fajitas. We have a sale bin at my supermarket. So anytime I see steaks in it, they're like 50% off. They got to go. They go right into my, right into my basket and then right into the freezer. And like, I love having steak. Steak is like my favorite. It really is. It's 92 degrees Fahrenheit here in Boston, Massachusetts, home of the American Revolution. That's right. How you like this? Do you like this a lot better? Ooh, Yoel's big into Blood Squad 7, and rightfully so. He also had Joe Casey at his store last week, and sounds like fun. I hope you have a recap about that. I watched your show last week, and that was more of a retrospective on the life and times of Jim Shooter. We haven't even. He's not even on the. It's time to talk about Jim Shooter a bit, but before that, we got this tweet up from Variety magazine, and because it's about this is what's setting off the outrage cycle, and it's kind of deservedly so. It's got it coming just a little bit, because James Gunn himself saying it's about an immigrant that came from other places, how we've lost the value of basic human kindness. Yes, it's about politics. And then I reposted this because I love Nina Infinity. I can't believe this dude couldn't shut the fuck up for 5 minutes before his movie comes out, or just keep it to, we really tried to make a movie everyone will enjoy and call it a day. These people need to be studied. I agree 100%, Nina. I do. This is written by Jack Dunn, and on July 6th, which is today, 9:55 a.m. Pacific time. James Gunn says Superman is about an immigrant that came from other places. Yeah, that's the headline. Okay. Well, what it is, too, it's a quote, and it's only half a quote. So there's a second part of that quote. So I've already fulfilled the mission. I have clicked on the link. They have got the ad traffic right now. You're seeing the ads to the side here. That's all that matters on digital journalism and digital, it's showing you these refills of Clorox toilet wands because this is linked into my Amazon Prime. So it's literally showing you things that I buy. So instead of using a scrub brush, I use these Clorox toilet wands, and it's changed my life for the better. It smells great. It's very convenient, and I don't have to worry about placing dirty toilet water into a cylindrical basin unit to the side of my toilet where it could fester, and God knows what's on your toilet wand. Well, now you don't have to worry. Now you can just pick up one of these pods with a stick and a click, and then hit the button and disposes. And it's got plenty of scrubbing power. Shouldn't I be? I should be the chicken marketing. But James Gunn is opening up about what Superman is really about. You just used the word "about" twice in your first opening sentence. Wow. Who wrote this? Is opening up. What would you use differently? Don't you have a thesaurus? That's so far my biggest problem with this article is that. Let's close that player. In his Sunday profile with the Times of London, the DC Studios head went deep on the themes and ideas that drive his highly anticipated Superman. So he's talking with the London Times. He's talking with on an international stage. He explained that the superhero epic encompasses the story of America, and at a basic level is about a man searching for a better life away from his original home. Sure, I mean, it's got more to do. He wasn't really a patrioted citizen of Krypton. He was a baby in a basket. Just a bastard in a basket. Bastard in a basket. If you know, There Will Be Blood. And oh, Dwayne. Nice. I mean, Superman is the story of America, Gunn explained, an immigrant that came from other places and populated the country. But for me, it is mostly a story that says basic human kindness is a value and is something we have lost. That's an interesting way to look at it. Just because you disagree with half of the population doesn't mean that half of the population lack human kindness. They have different foci. Gunn acknowledged that the movie's themes may be interpreted differently across political groups, especially considering the current nationwide unrest around immigration. However, Gunn stands by the ideals embedded in Superman and added that he doesn't care if anyone takes offense. Yes, it plays differently, but it's about human kindness. And obviously, there will be jerks out there who are just not kind and will take it as offensive just because it is about kindness. But screw them. Yeah, but your flavor of kindness isn't necessarily the best, what's the word, panacea? You know, the cure-all for everything. It comes at a cost as well. I mean, that is moral superiority. That is privilege. That is superiority with a capital S, capital P with privilege. That is smugness. Wow. That is really, I mean, okay. He continued, yes, it's about politics. So that's where the clickbait ends, okay? And that's where the outrage, because how many people are bothering to read the whole article? You know, or have it read to you here at Reverend Sully's channel, you know, on the Super Sully Sunday stream. So if you haven't already, click on that subscribe button. We're a small growing channel, and we make content here. We'll make, you know, always a good time, you know. I'm not going to get outragey at this. What's the point? I don't want to go because he was saying truth, justice, and the American way in interviews. The actress who plays Lois Lane, Rachel Brosnahan, was saying truth, justice, and the American way in pressers before this. Yet in 2021, Jim Lee had this big to-do public announcements that they're taking away the American way out of Superman's motto. And it's just like, you know, the last thing that this country needs is any more giving a pass to these like really like awful anti-American sentiments. The American way is part of the immigrant experience, about coming here, about assimilating into the grand American tapestry. You know, so I do agree on certain aspects, and maybe even when I see it, maybe I'll be impressed, and maybe I will appreciate it, and maybe like, but still, you know, when it comes to something like optics, when it comes to things like this is polarizing. I mean, this is supposed to be a feel-good summer movie, a popcorn movie for everyone, and the creator is going on this. Nina's right. They can't help themselves. These people must be studied. They can't fucking help themselves. I'm in the middle. I'm in the radical far middle Okay? And I fucking hate this shit. This smug fucking cunt shit. Oh my Christ. Fuck off. You. No, really. But he continued. Gunn continued. Yes, it's about politics. But on another level, it's about morality. But politics isn't morality. Morality isn't politics. Something can be completely amoral and be it could be politically, it could be legal and political, It's just, seriously. Wow. Choose your cause. Tell him, Sully. Thank you. I took 2 naps today. I'm plumb tuckered. I'm not on mute, am I? Your browser has lost connection to your screen share audio. Oh, okay. But you can hear me, right? I can hear me. Pikachu, are you playing buttons? Where were we? But he said but on another level, it's about morality. Do you never kill no matter what? Which is what Superman believes. So that's just great because that part's good because he's in direct conflict with Zack Snyder and the Snyder Bros. In which I thought that Superman only killed Zod, or tacitly killed a whole bunch of other people by having a fight with Zod inside of Metropolis. No, the only person that Superman killed in Man of Steel was Zod, which was interesting because I thought that was part of the immigrant experience and being assimilated into the tapestry of culture, that now you are protecting this place and you are coming across a countryman, someone from your culture. What do you do to protect your adopted home? Yeah. And plus, it was another Krypton. I mean, I don't know. I'm on the fence about that one. I have more of a problem with Batman killing than Superman killing in the Zack Snyder, which is what Superman believes. Or do you have some balance, as Lois believes? It's really about their basic relationship and the way different opinions on basic moral beliefs can tear 2 people apart. Maybe like, oh wow, we're gonna have emancipated Lois by the end of it. She's gonna divorce Clark. Isn't that gonna be the cliffhanger? Because of feminism. Or, I don't know. Superman releases July 11th. Blah 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 blah. I know. But still, it's like what Nina says. I can't believe this dude couldn't shut the fuck up for 5 minutes before his movie comes out. Or keep it to, we really tried to make a movie everyone will enjoy and call it a day. These people need to be studied. I mean, seriously, I'm just... Let's bring on the comic books. Let's see. Closing windows. I read Funnybooks this week. All new Venom number 8. It was kind of fun. I think the Gomez art really elevates the Al Ewing story. MJ looks incredible when we see her. And it's interesting use of her power set. I didn't mind All New Venom number 8 at all. I didn't mind it one bit. I loved Amazing Spider-Man number 7, and it's all about the John Romita art for me here. And it's not Johnny's best stuff. It's not. Yet I love his camera work, his panel pacing, his choices. Johnny Romita Jr. to me is the Martin Scorsese of comics. And the art elevates the Joe Kelly story. It's a decent story, and I feel that Johnny Romita Jr.'s art really elevates what could be a more mediocre story. See, like the other artist on this is Pepe Larraz, but he just doesn't have the cinematic the quality of the story beats. I mean, it's too fine, maybe it's too digital or something. Because when you see these backgrounds to Johnny's New York City of web slinging through the streets, having a street fight with Hellgate, I mean, even though they're roughly hewn a bit, it's still authentic. It's still a New Yorker describing visually New York City, and it's hand drawn. It's not a 3D asset. I continue to be impressed with John Romita Jr. And it reminds me that I haven't backed Psychic Sam yet, his Kickstarter with Mark Miller. Avengers 28, it wasn't great, but it was okay. Why? Because I like the melodramatic soapy notes between Aurora and T'Challa. I like them being together. McKay lands his story. It's action-packed, but also it's like the whole impossible city thing is just so over the top. It's so overpowered. I mean, I would rather I want to see the Avengers back in the mansion. Is Jarvis still alive? You know, is Jarvis still around? You know, can we have Jarvis back? Can we race and gender swap Jarvis? And just and have and well, you can't have a race swap, gender swap Jarvis because it's a servile capability. You know what I mean? Yeah. Shut up, Sully. We have the One World Under Doom tie-in, bring out the bad guy with Green Goblin. It was interesting. The art was pretty good, and I said it was interesting. It didn't suck, and so we found this out doing a little bit of research with Wes during the week. That was back on the Nick Spencer run, where it was revealed that Norman sold Harry to Mephisto. And so this is about Mephisto and and Norman Osborn. And so there are two things that Norman had to do: is one, sell him his firstborn, and two, kill somebody that Mephisto, does with a certain dagger. And this dagger is like the MacGuffin, the plot, the literal prop for the plot device to move story forward. And but it's actually pretty decent. And it's set in the past, So Harry is first seen as an infant and then as a teenager or a late teenager, a young adult, So it's in peak Norman Osborn Green Goblin days, So it was okay. And there was a backup feature called The Origin of Sister Sorrow, and I really liked that. Hey, Salam, good to see you, Mo. Greetings from half a world away. And The Origin of Sister Sorrow it reminded me of Tales of the Lantern Corps backups in the Blackest Night books, and this was a surprise. It was a good one. I really liked it. Coming to Valerio Schiti and Chip Zdarsky's Captain America #1, and I'm surprised I liked it as much as I did. I gave it, I try not to use the 10-point scale because I'm not really good at it. I feel like I'm usually just making it up as I'm going along, not really adhering to a real numbered structure, and I really try to, to use the Overstreet's Guide to Grading Comics 10-point scale and transfer those values into criticizing a single floppy. So I said I gave it an 8.3, but what does that really mean? And so, but I'm interested in what's coming up next. It's a Captain America's tale that's set in the past. It's set a week after he's been thought out by the Avengers. And so I think it's a really interesting use and a model of Marvel's sliding timeline. Now, sliding timeline it's one thing. I think it has two parts to it, two moving parts. One is that we take the 1961, was it 1963 Fantastic Four #1? That is where the Marvel Universe timeline began. It's not Atlas. It's not timely. Yes, there were plenty of World War II comics with the Defenders, sure, but the Marvel 616 began with Fantastic Four #1. And so, sliding timeline, there's an accumulation of time that's happened since Fantastic Four #1, and it is about 15 years for the characters. Spider-Man was 15 when this started. He is about 30 now. Franklin Richards, Valeria Richards, they appear to be 14 and 13 years old at this point. And that goes for the X-Men. That goes for everyone in the Marvel Universe. But then there's also tying things into real-life events. 9/11 happened in all the comic books in DC and in Marvel. That happened. It happened in our real life, and it happened in Marvel Comics. It was a big, talk about Johnny Romita Jr. and his love letter to his native city, and on Amazing Spider-Man. That was just wow. And so Cap is thawed 1 week. So Cap is thawed after 9/11, and so his first thing to solve here is, hey JK, good to see you. How you doing? Awesome. And if you're in Texas, I think you are. AL has stated intentions of going to Anime Matsuri, and I think Lane Kramer is chiming in on that too. And I'm also suggesting people hit up Perch, see if maybe y'all can get another meetup going. And if you do, like, oh, you're in North Carolina, okay, cool. So yeah. Awesome. Where were we? Yeah, we're talking about Captain America #1. So Cap is thawed after 9/11, and that is a sliding timeline in a way as well, because back in the first adventures of Iron Man, that was the Vietnam War or Korea, I believe, and that got moved up to reference another real life war. I think the last time, I think Iron Man currently, like the inciting incident, the shrapnel and the arc reactor. Arc reactor was like, that was a Marvel Universe, cinematic universe thing, but you know what I mean. But the bomber at the beginning of the book that Captain America talks down is a Gulf War veteran, and then Iron Man shows up, and but it's very distinct because it's the Iron Man Mark III armor. It's the first, because the Mark I armor was the dull gray one. The Mark II armor was the gold armor, and this was like the bullet head, the original design. Then came the Mark III armor. It's got the red and the gold. It's got the power pods that are on either side of his belt, and it has those two peaks on the faceplate. And then the Mark IV is the most iconic one, where it's the red and the yellow, and they've removed those two peaks from the faceplate. So this is the Mark III armor, and but it's got this it's got a really cool visual update to it in a way, but it's fairly iconic too. So as an Iron Man fan, as an Iron Man armors fan, I really, really thought that was cool. Oh, cool. That's what I thought. All right, cool. And but yeah, I thought it was pretty good. Captain America 1. It's got more. Let's see where it goes. But it's also interesting too to note it's yet another decent Marvel story, but it's told in the past. And there are so many good Marvel books that have come out, like Rogue Savage Land. The Michelini's done some Venom, Lethal Protector stuff. There's been just a bunch of different, it just inserted into the past, especially with X-Men books too. And they'll even tell you in the beginning, this is set around X-Men number 192. And specifically, that's Wolverine and Kitty Pryde. This is set between Kitty Pryde and Wolverine number 6 and Uncanny X-Men number 192, which were published in 1984. And so this has that thing going too. So Marvel is kind of hapless when it comes to its own modern continuity. We're going to get to that in a second with Ghost Spider, number 15, because that was a doozy. And I really don't know what happened, kind of thing. I read it, and so we're going to get there. We're going to get there. But that Cap, maybe what works for Cap, that it's set in the past, that you have the leeway to tell a better story without having to worry about, the modern continuity. You just have to, I wish more stories were approached that way, that we could have a better now in the continuity. Daredevil 23, I thought it was solid. 3 straight issues of really good Daredevil from Solomon Ahmed. Great art. It's very Bronze Agey. Not Bronze Age Daredevil. I tripped up on this talking to Wes and Dylan because it sounded like I was making a 1-to-1 comparison of Daredevil 20 to 23 with Frank Miller's Bronze Age 1980 Daredevil. And that wasn't the point. It was more of the Bronze Age titles from Marvel in 1980 and 81. The Luke Cage and Iron Fist, Moon Knight, just Defenders, decent, solid superhero stories. And that's what, that's where I was going with that. So if you listen to the Patreon, that's what I really meant. Daredevil 23 was solid. I like the black armor. There's some really great action and fight scenes. The Taskmaster fight was great. It was filled with superhero action. Then you have the soapy melodrama of Elektra and Matt. And this was a good Daredevil story. See, after the first 19 issues of introductory rights by Solomon Ahmed, and this is wrapping up in 2 issues. It's done at 25. It is. I know. Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe one last time, 4 out of 5. It was all right. I think I was disappointed with issue 3, but also it's 5 issues, so it's going to read better as a trade paperback. I really feel that. It was all right. It's good rising action to bring us to the climax. It's inventive with a mashup of Wade's stolen powers, and now with the added voice of Venom in his head, he's got Wade's voice, he's got 2 other Deadpool voices, and now he's got Venom, also part of that chorus, that Greek chorus, demented Greek chorus in his head. And it's pretty fun. It will make a nice collection. The only drawback to reading it in floppies is that it's written for the trade. And let's see, Godzilla versus Thor #1 was amazing. It was so much fun. It was a great conceit to have Jason Aaron use the hand to resurrect Godzilla. And then Godzilla is under the hand's sway. And it was awesome Aaron Cooter fight scenes. I might buy this one. It was that good. It did. Elverine #8 was all right. I thought the last issue was bottled boring, but yet this one is a lot better. I know it's a Hellfire mashup of derivative characters, but this title had worked more than it's failed. I gave it a 7.0, whatever that means. Yeah, I mean, it sounds good. It sounds better than bad. It's not good enough to I don't know. Immortal Thor #25 wraps up Al Ewing's current Immortal Thor run. It's the last issue. It goes into a new life, one could say. But it entertained me, and I really liked this volume of Thor. The past couple of issues have been a little bit trying, but it was just, this was the end game. Everything leads to this one issue, and Ewing lands it. I thought it was interesting. I liked how it moved the story forward, especially at the end. And what's next? Is Ewing writing the mortal Thor? It was mostly, as a run goes, 25 issues. It had great Alex Ross covers, and it was mostly okay. And that's that. It'll probably be 5 trade paperbacks or 1 omnibus, because usually that's 25 issues. 5 times 5 is 25. Okay, Spider-Gwen Ghost Spiders 15. It didn't suck, and it just didn't like the story, but Phillips lands it. And she lands her story well, and I can respect it. And there is a new #1 coming. And this is the legacy number. I will share this page with you. We will look at funny books too. Hey, Fair Monarch, how you doing? I'm not. I'm holding off on that until I hear, until I hear the buzz. It doesn't need my help breaking a billion. And plus, actually, we open the show. If you get to the replay and at the end of the show, check out the first 20 minutes. We talked about that. We were talking about James Gunn's statements in today's Variety column, calling it political. Yes, it's political. That's a quote from James Gunn. Nice. All right, let's look at a funny book. It is Legacy number 75, issue 15, the final issue of Spider-Gwen, the Ghost Spider. When teenager Gwen Stacy suits up in her synthetic symbiotic suit and web shooters, she gains amazing powers, a spider sense that warns her of danger, the ability to stick to the walls with her adhesive fingertips and toes, the proportional speed and strength of a spider, and the ability to throw and swing from webs. She is also a frequent traveler of the multiverse, but recently left her home on Earth 65 for mysterious reasons to begin a new life on Earth 616 as Spider-Gwen, the Ghost Spider. When King Loki came to Earth 65 to steal a cosmic cube, Ghost Spider knew she couldn't let him get his hands on it. Her attempt to keep the cube away from the Asgardian caused it to bond with her, giving her immense but uncontrolled cosmic powers. Since then, she's been struggling to find her place in her new home, Earth 616. And Loki's been blah, 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 rebuild the universe in his image using the cosmic cube, this thing, the other thing. It's edited by Jordan White. Its assistant editor is Caden McGahey. So it's not. This is not a Nick Lowe book. Exactly. I mean, exactly. I mean, it's out there. I mean, if you look at my Twitter feed, you're going to see me retweet Nina Infinity, and she's near the top of my timeline, and that will take you to the aforementioned Variety article. Good. Those are good, funny books. I'm glad you like them. I'm excited for you too, and hopefully, people like us buying this book, we can keep it alive. I keep hearing things like Aquaman's going to get canceled at any second. If it does, it does. But it doesn't mean we didn't show up and try to support Jeremy Adams and this really good book. Where is it? Okay. We're going to skip to the end. Skip to the end, my darling. So there's what an ending. Or you could this is how the story ends. Gwen Stacy, just a girl from Earth. And look, she's sacrificing herself to save creation. What a wingding ending. Or you could rewrite the ending. Wait, who are you and how are you inside? You know who I am. Where am I? I'm mine. I'm inside. Like when the Phoenix and I came here to get the cosmic cube under control. So why are you in here? Oh, come on. That's obvious, and I am not that dumb. This is our mind. I belong here as much as you. Okay, so inside my own mind, where a cosmic cube version of myself is sitting at a desk writing, that was the best way to do, and that was the best way to rewrite the ending. unless you are happy to be consumed by magical green fire. You are the author of your own story, Gwen. Phoenix told you King Loki is your fight. It's also your story. And I think we should be done letting others write parts of it for us. This is all feminist stuff, too. Written by a woman with a doctorate, a PhD. Seriously. It's a metaphor. So I can write whatever I want. Within reason, there are rules. That sounds vaguely familiar, but where do I begin? At the end. We will return to our heroes as they were struggling against Loki's monster. Captain Carter and Gambit never backed down. And Spider-Gwen was also in that TVA, the Time Variance Authority miniseries book. And then and here we go. Okay. Everyone else has gotten their ending now. What about us? I think I want to change it up. How? I don't want to write another ending. It's time for something different. A new beginning. So Earth 616. Her alarm goes off. Gwen, coffee's ready. Coming. My name is Gwen Stacy. I was bitten by a radioactive spider and gained powers that I use to protect people who can't protect themselves. Ghosts who are often overlooked by even the other heroes of this Earth. Earth 616. That's why they call me the Ghost Spider. So she's got her drum kit. She's got her Spider-Man Jim Jams. And this. I was thinking about picking up a pizza on the way home. Maybe we can watch the final season of Crimson and Vengeance of some Za. Sounds great, Za. Sounds great, Dad. Just please never say Za again. This is where my story begins. And this is where... Oh, and check out a sneak peek of what's to come in all new Spider-Gwen, the Ghost Spider, #1 on sale in August. And so Wes just put out a video today. It's about rewriting history. I see feminist notions of like agency and about being able to being empowered. You're a girl, women. You're empowered. Write your own story. You have your own agency. You're in control. You have the power. You're not a victim. The whole thing with the whole Gwen pool thing. There's Gwen pool. There's two Gwen. There Gwen's pool, or are they Gwen pools? There are two Gwen pools, and there's a Gwen pool who's apparently the Earth 616 Gwen Stacy, resurrected from the dead and made it into the Weapon Plus program. And this is still Spider-Gwen from Earth 65. So did she bring her dad from Earth 65 over to Earth 616? Because remember, Captain Stacy gets killed in the line of action. Peter Parker had a terrible impact on the Stacy family, and also Gwen lost her mom to cancer. Where's Mrs. Stacy? Where's Gwen's mom? She brought her dad back, but she didn't write her mom back. We won't know yet. That's all the information we have about this. But that Gwen has now, her suit is no longer a symbiotic simulation suit. It's not like she was bitten by a spider now. Will this have repercussions? And the 616, we don't know yet. It's unfolding. But what happens? But not her mom? Indeed. What other funny books did we read this week? I had a good time reading Star Wars Jedi Knights #5. It was a standalone surprise. I like this book. Count Dooku is one of my favorite prequel characters. I would love to have a high-end lightsaber of his. The replicas, like it's got a hilt like this, but it lights up makes crash noises, swinging noises. It's got all the sound effects. And I always wanted, I want Palpatine's lightsaber. I had a Dooku lightsaber, the Attack of the Clones line. I had 4 lightsabers. I had a Dooku, I had a Maul, I still have my Obi-Wan, and I still have my Qui-Gon. They're out on the where did I do with that? There we go. Okay. On the Star Wars shelf in the living room. Star Wars Jedi Knights. Yeah, so this book worked for me. It's the last few issues have been bad, but this one got it. I'm not becoming a Disney Star Wars fan, but it's set. Star Wars Jedi Knights, written by Mark Guggenheim, set in events a few years before the Phantom Menace, and it's an interesting era to tell stories in. Ultimate Wolverine was okay. Number 7. I'm not a fan of this book to begin with. It's a bit of a mess. It's really wordy. And I like the Alex Lin's fill-in arts the past 2 issues a ton more than Cappuccio's art. It was lots of talking. The best parts were the bad guy that was tormenting the Doctor. I like seeing Ilyana cut loose a bit and be evil. I do. Wolverines and Deadpool, written by Cody Ziegler. This is cringe-tastic. The Shadow King is one of my least favorite ex-baddies, and this is just a really flat, bad book. Get it at your own. Read it at your own risk of your own sanity. Awesome. Ryan McKay's X-Men number 19. It was good for me. I liked it. I like the Nefo Diaz art, and I'm a huge fan of the original New Mutants. I was like 10 when that came out, and so I kind of grew into my teenage years. So by issue 48, I'm 14. And the hot cartoon girls, Liliana, Mirage, Magma. And honestly, Cypher, Doug Ramsey, was one of my favorite heroes. I loved his power set because it was odd. He was an oddity. He was just as much as a mutant as anyone else. But his gifts had nothing to do with physical power. It was he could translate any language. He could understand everything. And that came in handy when Warlock fell to Earth. And he was the only one and that's why Warlock and Doug became best friends. And I love that relationship too. I love Warlock's design, and especially just how out there drawing Warlock could be. Doug Ramsey was the first New Mutant to die. He stayed dead for a long time. They've brought him back a few times, especially for the Krakoan age. He was perhaps the only person that could directly speak to Krakoa itself, the island. And recently in the Heir to Apocalypse miniseries, Doug Ramsey has evolved into Revelation, the Heir of Apocalypse. Now it is survival of the fittest, but it's his way. And I really enjoyed this issue, yeah. And there was the Hellfire Vigil. It was an X book that came out this week. It was kind of like a Hellfire Gala, but it was more of it was a remembrance of it was the valediction of the Krakoan age with the hindsight of the From the Ashes era. It wasn't all that bad. It's all over the place. It's a real jam issue with all the X-writers and artists, but they kind of pull it off. It might not be a story for me, but there are parts that I liked about it, kind of like Psylocke giving Scott a hard time about not wanting to go to the Hellfire Vigil, but wanting to stay in Alaska. And he's like, hey, someone's got to mind the base. you know, and like, don't give me that, Scott. You're just avoiding this. He's like, sure, why not? Then there's Kitty Pryde and Bobby in a Chicago bar. They're exes, you know, and mulling over whether to go or not, you know. Storm being my all-time favorite X-Men, I liked her scene. And the person who's writing her Storm mini wrote this. And it was about, you know, she thought she was pregnant. And she, you know, and it was about hope and about using your imagination to, you know, like where will this hope lead? And it was an interesting story note. And the scene I think I liked the best was with Banshee and with Siren, his daughter. And so you had all these little character moments. And I hope the fans of the Krakoa era find this book and buy it from their local comic book shop. I also read 10 DC comics this week. We'll go down the list real quick. I read my first issue of Absolute Green Lantern number 4. It was kind of, you know, I wasn't really sold on it. I didn't even like the coloring in it. It's about light. And yeah, I mean, Evan Sur looks like Majin Buu from Dragon Ball Z. Anyway, I read Birds of Prey number 23 by Kelly Thompson. Again, not great. You know, yeah, not much to say. I read, yeah, like I said, I read 10 DC books. I usually don't go out of my way to read DC books on the pirate sites. You know, I'm happy with the review copies that I do get. Batgirl number 9. It started off kind of flat, but ended pretty well. Jeff Lemire's Justice Society of America number 9. It's pretty darn boring, and I like the JSA a lot. It's funny too because I like Lemire better when he's doing his own artwork. I just think, yeah, or Dustin Nguyen. I mean, Dustin Nguyen is a good battery with Lemire, but I love Lemire when it's just him. That's great. Yeah, exactly. It's almost 2 years now. It's issue 23. Secret Six, number 5. It was okay, you know. Batman 89 Echoes number 6 of 6. The Joe Quinones art was incredible, really good. But I hadn't been tuned into this since the first issue, which came out so bloody long ago. And Mo, thank you so much. Have a great day. Thank you for joining us half a world away, coming to us live and direct from Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. Thank you, Mohammed. Salam. Have a great day. I like Wynn's art a lot too. I really do. Thank you so very much. Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong 2, number 2. No more bathroom codes with number 2. It wasn't terrible. It just wasn't good. And it was hard to follow. Yeah, sure. I mean, just I hope it's got fans. It's a sequel. So the first run of this merited enough interest that a sequel got greenlit. You got Gotham City Sirens number 1. It's a terrible book. Yeah. I don't. This is probably why I read DC comics. I read the DC comics that are on my pull list. I read Aquaman, Green Lantern Corps, Superman by Josh Williamson. I recently took Absolute Superman by Jason Aaron off of my pull list. I had enough, but I gave it 8 issues. I gave it a try. Anything else? I'm reading Resurrection Man. I'm reading New Gods. That's healthy. A bunch of DC comics, huh? You know what was good this week was Teen Titans Go, number 5. It was actually patriotic, positive, It showed America in a positive light. It was about the Teen Titans and Starfire experiencing her first 4th of July not on Earth and being in America. And it ended up being really nice. I felt that, Starfire's voice. I like Starfire's voice in Teen Titans and Teen Titans Go. That she speaks like Data from Star Trek: The Next Generation. She does not use contractions. She speaks very, very distinctly too. Yeah, she does not use contractions, and everything's very like over literal. So she puts the article "the" in front of words that we usually drop "the" in front of. I will maintain the peace. I will, it is all over it. So it kind of got tired by the end of the book, but it remained consistent. And the best parts were, of course, like Beast Boy and Cyborg, best friends, being just them. It was fun. If you can, give Teen Titans Go number 5. That's a solid rec from me. If you want an excuse to buy a DC comic book, it's for ages 8 and over. Yeah, it's a kid book, but check out its advertisements. See where it's got. It's a $3.99 book. It should be, unless it's $2.99. The Scooby-Doo and Scooby-Doo Batman Adventures were $2.99, showing that DC Comics could be selling you and me a $2.99 book anytime they darn well. Anytime they darn well please. So yeah, those were the DC books I read. What's in the bag? What's in the bag? I only got 3 books from my local comic book shop this week. They're all pretty good. I picked up Resurrection Man Quantum Karma number 4. This is going to be the last bit of artwork from Jackson Butch Geis, who was one of the co-creators of Resurrection Man. Butch was doing these one-page origin scenes in the opening of the book. And then comes, your Ram V, like big story, big ideas. I really like the art in here because it's artsy in a way. Some of it doesn't like really fit too well. Like look at this. This is Christopher Chance, the Human Target. But look how elongated his arms look and his legs. They're totally unproportional to his body in a way. That's not foreshortening, but it's artistic in a way. It's interesting, and I just it's all right with me. It's yeah. We got G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, number 318. Continuing Larry Hama's awesome return to the book that he's written probably about 97% of every issue. There's only been a few issues that Hama has not written. And this is just fun. It's going to go well with my G.I. Joe box set. That's his issues number 1 through 151. And those 2 were on my pull list. But then I bought this. I bought Godzilla versus Thor. I mean, I haven't really liked the other issues. Godzilla versus Fantastic Four I liked it because of the John Romita Jr. art. Then you had Godzilla versus Spider-Man, which it ended up being pretty bad. Then you had Godzilla versus Avengers. Issue? I don't think it's issue 1. It might be issue 4. It might be. I just asked Google. Larry Hama started writing G.I. Joe, and he wrote the first issue. Okay, he did. Okay. I actually I had to make a choice, Fair Monarch. I made the choice of I couldn't buy one huge nerdy thing this year. I mean, that wasn't going to Dallas. That was a gift from my mom. I could either get the Transformers box set, or I could get a picture with Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor at Boston Fan Expo. And I'm going for the picture. That's what I paid for. That's what I went for. Yeah. So that's going to happen in August, in a month from now. I have a month to lose a couple of pounds so I can fit into a nice shirt. But I'm going to have a nice picture with Obi-Wan and Anakin. It's just going up. It's going behind my Star Wars shelf in my living room. I already have a nice print of episode 3 where it's going to be above it. And it's got clashing lightsabers on Mustafar. So I think it's gonna, it's gonna do nice. Yes. And I was tempted to get the 1 in 25 variant, but it was $15, and I'm like, you're getting my $5. How's that instead? But look at this. Aaron Cooter double splash page. This is wonderful. This is great. It's nonstop action. It's wall to wall just fight scenes. Look at this. Oh gosh, I can hear the Godzilla, the roar. Oh, this is so good. He's resurrected by the hand. like there's some Jason Aaron throwaway line about Punisher. Recently, the head of the fist of the hand here. Recently, I believe I found our fist in the form of the world's most accomplished mass murderer. But in the end, Frank Castle proved himself a great disappointment, and I realized how wrong I'd been. So what she does is she resurrects Godzilla instead. It's really cool. King of Monsters. That's great. This is so over the top. It's called Ragnarok All Out Attack, and this is good stuff. Oh, look at that. Thor shows up to fight Godzilla. Yes, he did. I was going to get the Compendium 1, the softcover. It goes for like $80. But I'm just worried that the binding worries me. I mean, it looks like it's gum binding, and with a book that heavy, I don't think it's going to work. If that binding's going to fall apart, I can see it from here, and I'm not going to spend $80 on that. To be honest, I like G.I. Joe a lot more than I like Transformers. I'll tell you that much. As a Marvel comic of the early 80s, sure. And that's about it. Thank you so much for tuning in today for the Super Sully Sunday stream, spending some time. It's always so good to see you guys and gals. It really is. I am so blessed and grateful that we all meet up here and have a good time together. And maybe we'll see each other at some conventions in the near future. I'll let you know. I'll be going to Boston Fan Expo for one day on August 9th, Saturday, meeting up with a couple of people. Memes of Destruction, if you're still out there. I believe he's going. We're going to see Thomas Geeky, my buddy, and cornerstone of some of these fandom, am I going to? No, that's past my bedtime. I get up at 3:30 in the morning. So, if I'm not asleep by 8 p.m., there's something wrong with me, and I'm pretty gassed out too. I mean, I already took 2 naps today. I'm just I just want to eat supper and have an early night. But I think, but tell them I said hello. It's great. And it's great that Aaron is able to use, that Wes is sharing his platform and his channel with Aaron, who does not have his own channel, to close out Dolan Waddick's Unholy Nightmare #2. So go and check it out. And check out Yule Carter's fantastic comics. His details are in the description of this very show. And make an arrangement with them. Check him out on Instagram. That's how you can get a hold of him. And he might have your back issues. And he's just a mailbox away. You are just your own mailbox away from having a local comic book shop in your own home. Indeed. Thank you so very much. We'll see you next week with more Super Sully Sunday stream and some more comic books. And maybe, just maybe, we'll have more to say about James Gunn's Superman movie. I was looking forward to it, especially the dog. The dog got me. I loved Crypto, but if you're just tuning in, the first 20 minutes of the show, we did talk about it. And thank you so very much. God bless. Namaste. Good luck. And we will see you in those funny pages. All right. Ciao. Bye-bye.